morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another Facebook Live yoga session with yours truly. My name is Patty. I will be your instructor this evening. We're going to move through a beginner to intermediate level class this evening with plenty of opportunity for modifications. If something is a bit too advanced or not feeling right, I will cue some options for the poses to take a different option. But throughout the evening, if you feel something is too intense, doesn't feel right, you certainly can come down onto your mat into a child's pose, completely step out of the pose and just take a minute for yourself if you need to. Be sure to listen to your body, honor your hardworking muscles throughout the night, and we don't want anything screaming in pain and agony, so certainly back out of a pose if it's too intense. My pal Sherman is here with me. I'll eventually move him out of the way when we get started, but this will be an hour-long practice tonight, and we'll take you through a nice gentle warm-up into a mid lesson in the middle of the practice to get our body moving, and then we'll come back down to the mat and lower our heart rates a little bit at the end and have a nice relaxing evening. So I'm a little bit chilly tonight, got the sweatshirt on, but hopefully we warm up quickly. And for those of you just joining me, thank you so much for being here, and we will go ahead and get started. Take a comfortable seat on your mat. I have a block in my way, so I'm going to move that. We are going to come all the way onto our backs, start in a pose called Apanasana. So we're in our backs. Hug your knees into your chest in a tight little ball here. So I'm going to move the cat. Hopefully you can see me. I like to call this the little popcorn kernel. You're tucked in. Your knees are bent in towards your chest. Your arms are grabbing around your shins, hanging on. We're going to be here for a couple minutes. So you may want to just gently massage your low back a little bit here. Just gently rolling side to side here. Micro movements. Maybe make little circles with your hips. See what feels good as we're just coming down onto the mat for the evening. Maybe flex your feet and then point your feet. Flex and point. Roll out your ankles. And when you come into stillness, wrap your arms around your legs just a little bit more. And take a nice big inhale and lift your shoulders and your head ever so slightly off the mat, hugging in. And on the exhale, lower your shoulders and head back down. So now you should feel that you're squeezed in just a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and try that again. Inhale, lifting it ever so slightly. If this is too much on your neck or shoulders, just leave them on the mat. Exhale, lower your head and shoulders back down, but remain squeezing in your little ball here. Take that one more time, really tightening in. Squeeze squeeze, squeeze. Give yourself a nice big hug and release. Just stay in your little bug here, your little ball, for another breath or two. Just a natural breath. Couple more breaths here. Settling into your mat, feeling the presence of your practice. Go ahead and take one big inhale again, squeezing in, lifting your shoulders and head up. And on your exhale, straighten out long, arms reach overhead, legs go out long. Just a great big stretch here. And now we're going to make a C with our bodies, bending our legs and our arms to the right. This is banana pose. Stretching our side bodies here. Really feeling that stretch along the left side of your body. Breathing in. Good. Come back to center. Stretch your arms out long. Your legs are out long. And now we're going to make that C shape banana pose to the left. Good. Arms and legs back to center. Nice, straight, good stretch. Gently lift your legs. We're going to take our lazy happy baby here. So our hands are on our shins. Our knees fall open. We stretch into our hips. Just beginning to stretch out our legs. Releasing some of our back here. If you want to take a full happy baby, you're welcome to move your hands to the outer edges of the feet. Feet go up towards the sky. Bending your knees, sinking into your hips. Go ahead and bring your knees to the center, straighten your legs, flex your feet for legs up the wall. You're going to be here for maybe a minute. If you have a yoga strap nearby, you certainly can use that to help your legs up the wall. You can scoot up against a physical wall here for some support on the legs up the wall, or just remain in this position comfortably with your feet up towards the ceiling. Allow any tension or anxiety from the day to just release and fall out of you in this pose. This is a great relaxing pose here. Now from here, with control, we're going to keep our legs straight, our feet flexed, and lower down, slowly, 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 lower our legs to the right for a nice stretch in that outer left hip. We're working a little bit of our core here already. Good. With control, lift your legs back to center, pausing straight into the air just for a moment. And then with control, keeping your legs nice and straight, drop them over to the left. Shoulders remain on the floor. If it's comfortable, you can look out towards the right. Go ahead and control. Lift and straighten your legs back up, pausing. That legs up the wall. And now you're going to gently take a straddle leg lift. Drop your legs open to a V. Hands might come to the inner thighs. We're not pushing our legs down towards the earth. We're simply letting gravity do the work for us as we stretch our legs here. Remember to keep breathing throughout these poses. As your muscles begin to warm up, sometimes we try to tense up if something gets a little too intense. We might just need to take another breath in and out and explore the edge of our pose to see if this still feels good for another breath. Good. Go ahead and help your legs back to the center position. Legs up the wall. One more time here. Feet are still flexed up towards your ceiling. Go ahead and bend your knees, lower your feet to the ground. Heels work in towards your bum. And we're going to lift up at our hips for bridge. So lifting your thighs up towards the ceiling. Really stretching. Nice, good pose here. Triceps can be on the earth with bright, active hands. You can reach towards your heel, or you can interlace your fingers underneath to help bring your shoulders down your back. Go ahead and lower your hips to the mat. Tuck your feet out to the outer edges and just put your knees together here a minute. Help release your back because we're going to take bridge pose one more time. Just a couple breaths here. All right, move your feet back in line with your hips. Set yourself up for your bridge pose. Maybe scoot your heels towards your butt just a little bit more. Press into your heels, lift with your thighs, come up into bridge pose. One more breath here, you got it. Good, go ahead and lower back down. Tuck your feet out, knees come together. Just for 2 breaths here. Now go ahead and gently cross your legs to come up into a cross-legged seat, just as a transition here, as we're going to roll on over to our hands and knees.
Pausing here into our tabletop. Nice, steady, flat back. We just spent quite a few minutes on our backs, so we're going to do some cat and cow here. So inhale, soften your gaze, look up, drop your belly for cow. Exhale, round out your back, arch up for cat. Inhale, look up for cow. Exhale, really stretch out that back. Inhale, look up, soften your belly, gaze looks up, open the chest. Exhale into cat. Inhale, look up, one more cow. Release into cat. Last cow. Gaze looks up. Exhale into cat. Come back into tabletop just for a moment here, pausing for stillness. Step your feet up to standing, forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back, hands are on the mat or your shins. Release. Rise all the way up, nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Good. Go ahead and lift your arms up overhead into mounted pose. Gently grab just below your left wrist. Similar to that banana pose, but we're standing up and leaning to the right, stretching out our right side bodies. Come back to center, arms reach up, maybe look up just slightly, tiny micro back bend if that is comfortable as you're in the center. Good. Now lean to the left. Left hand gently below the right wrist, guiding yourself over to the left. Good. One more time. Straight into the center. Reach up tall. Maybe a slight back bend. Slightly look up to the sky. And release. We're going to come into eagle pose. So eagle, you're going to set yourself up on the left leg, nice and strong and steady. Right leg is going to wrap over, tucking the heel near your left calf. Left arm is going to come under your right arm, wrapping to the side. And once you get hooked with your legs, so right leg over the left leg, left arm under the right, your arms that are about shoulder height, we're going to take a nice little seat. Similar bend as chair pose, but we're twisted with eagle arms here. Kind of like you're giving yourself a high five with your hands while your legs are all crossed up and over. Good. Go ahead and release. We're going to take that on the other side. Strong and steady on your right leg. Left leg comes up and over, hooking around the right calf. Right arm this time comes under the left, giving yourself a high five with those eagle arms. And sink into your eagle pose. Nice stretch, nice balance pose. Remember to breathe. Fix your gaze on something out in front of you that's not moving to help with stability and balance. Good. Go ahead and release. Shake it out. We're going to take a standing big toe stretch, so I'll show you the modifications. Strong and steady in your left leg this time. Right leg lifts up. You can take your right hand on the inside of your right thigh, guide it out to the side, and you can stay here. Or you can take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toe, straighten your right leg out, then come to the side for your standing big toe stretch. Use your core to remain strong and steady. Whichever method or modification you are doing, your big toe stretch, if it's a bent knee or a straight leg, this is your practice. Listen to your body, what works well for you. Gaze is out in front of you to help with that balance. Strong, steady left leg. Go ahead and lower your right leg back down to the earth. Shake it out. Get strong and steady here. Remember, you can do bent leg out to the side, or take your peace fingers around your left big toe, extend it out to the side for a standing big toe stretch. Go ahead and release your left leg. Shake it out just a little bit. We're going to come into chair pose. Feet come together. Ankles can touch if it's comfortable. Thighs nice, squeezed in tight. Arms reach up overhead. Sink low as if you're sinking into a chair. Get strong and steady. Maybe lift and separate your toes so you can feel the legs doing the work. Go ahead and hinge slightly forward, coming up onto tippy toes now for power chair. Or an elevated chair. Lower back down to your heels. Sink a little bit lower in that chair. Remember to breathe here. One more time, lean slightly forward, come up on tippy toes. Elevated chair, nice and strong and powerful. And lower your toes, you got it. And release your arms. Good job. We're gonna go ahead and take gorilla. So lift your arms high up overhead. Swan dive to forward fold. Hands come to the mat. Palms are underneath your feet if this is comfortable. If it's not, you can take ragdoll and clasp opposite elbows and allow your head to hang heavy. I like gorilla, so I'm going to stand on my hands here, release my neck, look towards my knees. Well, actually, I'm going to look towards you so you can hear me. Just breathe here. Go ahead and release your gorilla or ragdoll if you took ragdoll arms. Halfway lift to flat back. Release to forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back. Step back to high plank. Our first plank. We're going to take a few breaths here. Draw your core in strong and steady. Good. Go ahead and push back up through through the hips, downward facing dog. We're going to take 5 breaths here. Each time, maybe pressing a little bit back further. You certainly can bend one knee and then the other. Feel it out while you're in this pose here. What feels good to you. Go ahead and lift your left leg up into the air. Step it through for low lunge. Hands are on either side of our foot. You're right up on your right toes. Your right leg is strong and steady. We're only going to be here for a minute. We're going to drop our right heel, left elbow to left knee for extended side angle. If you want greater challenge in this pose, you can take your left hand to the ground, or a block, or the cat. I'm just kidding, don't use the cat. If you want a deeper stretch, or keep the left elbow to the left knee. Go ahead and curl back to your right toes, almost in the high lunge. Hands are going to come into prayer position. Right elbow is going to hook to the left knee for a revolved side angle. Good. Release your hands. Either side of your left foot, your front foot. Nice strong low lunge here again. Press back, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Look towards your hands. Step or walk your feet to your hands. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise all the way up. Hands by our side. Arms reach up. It's mountain pose. Swan dive down. Forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back. Step back to high plank. 2 breaths here. Strong, steady core. Push back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up into the air, steps through, low lunge. Nice bent 90-degree angle. Your left leg is straight, strong, long. You're up on your left toes. We're not going to be here long because we're going to drop our left heel, elbow to thigh, extended side angle. Now remember, you can drop your right hand to the earth or a block. You want to deepen this stretch. Come back on your left toes like a high lunge. Prayer hands, left hand comes to the outside of the right thigh for your revolved side angle. Lower your hands to either side of your front leg. Step back, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Look towards your hands. Step or walk your feet, forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold. Rise all the way up, standing at attention, arms are at our sides, arms reach up overhead to mountain, swan dive down, forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back, forward fold. Halfway lift, plant your hands, step back, high plank. 2 breaths here. Push up and back, downward facing dog. Left leg comes up, steps through in between your hands, low lunge. Lower your right heel, elbow to thigh, extended side angle. Your front leg, nice bent 90-degree angle, great long side stretch between your right side body from your fingers to your toes. Curl back to your right toes, coming into prayer hands. Just for a moment, your high lunge here. Hook your elbow to the outside of that thigh for your twist. Hands come back to the earth, framing your front leg. Pausing here in your low lunge. Step back, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Step or walk your feet to your hands, forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. Rise all the way up, standing at attention. Good. Arms reach up overhead. Swan dive back down, forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back, forward fold. Halfway lift, plant your hands, step back, high plank. Push back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up into the air, steps through, low lunge. Nice, strong, steady left leg. Good, bent 90-degree angle in your right leg. Drop to your heel, elbow to thigh, extended side angle. Come back onto your toes. Prayer hands, high lunge. Left elbow to right thigh. Revolved side angle. Hands come back to the mat, either side of your front leg. Pausing here on your low lunge just for a minute. Step back, downward facing dog. Look towards your hands, step or walk your feet, forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back, forward fold. Rise all the way up. Good. Arms reach up overhead and down, forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back, plant your hands, step back, high plank. 2 breaths here. Push back with your hips, downward facing dog. From here, add a bend to your knees. We're going to come into dolphin pose. If this is too intense, just stay in your down dog. Slight bend in your knees as we come down to forearms. So the back half of you is in your down dog position. Your front is on your forearms. Now whether you're in down dog or dolphin, take your left leg, lift into the air for a split. Lower your left leg down. Right leg comes up for a split. Right leg comes down, lift back up into your downward facing dog. Step or walk to the front of your mat, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Rise all the way up. Breathe here. Arms reach up overhead. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands. Step back. High plank. Push back, downward facing dog. We're going to do dolphin one more time. So if that wasn't your thing, stay here in your down dog. Slight bend in your knees as you come down to your forearms. Still pushing up and back into your hips. Now lift your left leg up and back into the air. Flex your foot, kicking it back for a split. Lower your left leg down. Right leg lifts up, kicks back. Push, push, push through your heels, working to send your hips up and back. Go ahead and release. Come back into downward facing dog if you were into dolphin. 2 breaths here. Lower to your knees. We're going to come into rock pose. So similar to child's pose, but our knees are together, our thighs are together. We lean forward, arms come alongside our bodies, forehead comes to the mat. It was a little intense with our dolphin and our splits. So come into your little rock and just breathe. Slowly come in to tabletop from your rock pose. Just getting steady here again. Curl your toes under, push your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Don't worry, we're not doing some splits here. Just 2 breaths in our down dog. Look towards your hands, step or walk, forward fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. Rise all the way up. Couple breaths here. Arms reach up overhead. Come down to forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands, nice flat back. Step back. to low lunge, or yeah, low lunge. No, where are we? Plank. Go ahead and drop your knees. Come all the way down to the belly, however you can get there. Arms are down alongside our body. Chin comes to our mat. We're going to take locust pose. So you look towards the mat, head, shoulders, chest lifts up while your legs lift up as if you are reaching your hands down towards your feet. Good. Go ahead and lower back down. We're going to do locust one more time. Look towards your mat. Lift your head, open your chest, pull your shoulders down your back as you lift up and back into your locust pose. Good. Go ahead and release. Take a couple breaths here. That was setting us up for our next pose, which is bow or half bow. So we're going to have a similar upper body movement, except your right hand is going to reach towards your left foot or your ankle. I actually grab my calf here, right above the ankle bone. As you lift up and back, you can do half bow. You can extend your left arm out long. You can use it as a kickstand here as your chest. Or if you want to take full bow, left hand can grab near the left ankle. I grab right above the ankle bone so you can flex your feet as you lift up into your bow. Go ahead and release. Come back down to the mat. Take 2 breaths here. And then if you took half bow, we'll do it on the other side. Otherwise, full bow one more time. So, left hand reaches towards the left ankle. You can do half bow on the left. Right arm can be out straight in front of you. Can come up as a little kickstand to help you in that bow position, or full bow, right hand to right leg as you lift up and back. Go ahead and release. Pause here, coming flat to your mat. Just breathe here. Go ahead and come up to all fours. Pause in here in tabletop, just feeling where we are. We're going to take child's pose. Go ahead and put your big toes together. Bring your knees out wide to the edges of the mat. Sink your hips and your bum back towards your heel. Extend your arms out long. Lower your forehead to the mat. Take a big breath in. Exhale, come back up to tabletop. Curl your toes under, send it back, downward facing dog. Look towards your hands. Step or walk your feet, forward fold. Halfway lift to flat back, forward fold. Rise up one vertebrae at a time. Standing at attention, arms are at our sides. 2 breaths here. Arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back. One more plank. High push-up. Nice, strong, steady, still working that core. Downward facing dog. Right leg lifts high up into the air. Nice little stretch back. Bring your right leg through, bending at the knee for your half pigeon here. You'll feel it in your right hip flexors, your right glute. You can stay in tall arms here as your shin works towards parallel to the front of your mat. You can come down to forearms. You can rest your head on a block or stack your fists. Rest your head on your fists. So there's some support for your neck and your head as we're in pigeon here for about a minute on the right. If that's too much on the back leg, or the bent leg I should say, you can put a block right near your bum to help your right leg. Keep breathing through your pose as this one gets a little intense. We're going to be here for a minute. If you find yourself wanting to get fidgety or come out of the pose, see if you can take another big inhale and a cleansing breath out. Take your mind off of the pose and bring it back into the breath. Slowly come up to tall arms. If you're not already, curl your toes under. Send your right leg back, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up. Nice big stretch back first before you carry it through to the pigeon on the other side. Your shin works towards parallel to the front of the mat. Right leg stretches out towards the back. You can come to your forearms. You can certainly stay on tall arms. If you're not feeling it today, use your block or stack your fists to help rest your head here. Breathing into the pose. Stretching out your left leg here. You may notice one side feels different than the other. One glute may be screaming and the other side may just be fine. Come up to tall arms if you're not already. Curl your right toes under, send your left leg back, downward facing dog. This is our last down dog of the evening, so take whatever movement you need here. Bending a knee, maybe sinking back, pushing your heels a bit closer to the earth. Whatever feels good for you. Look towards your hands, step or walk your feet forward, fold. Halfway lift, forward fold. Rise all the way up, hands are by our sides. Arms rise up overhead. Forward fold, halfway lift, flat back, forward fold. Go ahead and bend your knees, sink down, come to a seat. Legs reach out in front of you, heels point up, toes point up, arms reach up. We're going to take a seated forward fold, so we're going to lean with our belly, with our hearts. Nice stretch as we reach towards our feet. Don't worry if you can't touch your toes here. We're getting that hamstring stretch. We're stretching through our backs. Doing what feels good here for you. Slowly lift up to tall back. Bend your knees. Lower down onto your back. Walk your heels in towards your bum. We're going to take bridge. So remember we did this earlier in our practice. Now it may feel a little different. So heels walk in towards your bum. Lift up through the thighs. Arms can reach towards your heels or your ankles. You can grasp your hands together underneath as you lift into your bridge pose. Strong, 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 steady here. And release. Walk your feet towards the edges of your mat. Bring your knees in together. Just for a pause here. Set back up for bridge pose. Heels walk towards your bum. Lift up. Hands can reach down towards your heels. Clasp your hands underneath to help draw your shoulders on the back if that's comfortable. Go ahead and lower back down. This time, bring the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. One hand to your belly, one hand to heart center. Breathe into this posture, releasing your low back here. Gently bring your knees back to center. Lift your legs, shins are parallel to the earth. Gently let your knees fall to the right as your gaze looks out over your straightened left arm. We're in a nice supine twist here. Stretching out our side bodies one last time. Legs come back to center, knees are still bent. Dropping them to the left as your gaze looks out over your right arm. Nice cleansing breaths into your right side body here. Bring your knees back to center. Hug it in, just like we started, lifting your head, your shoulders. Nice big squeeze. Lifting yourself up off the mat, really bring it in. And then fall heavy into Shavasana. Arms alongside your body. Legs stretch out long, nice and straight. Your head, shoulders, and back. Your legs fall heavy into your mat for our final resting pose of Shavasana. We'll be here for a couple minutes. I will give you some silence in our final pose. So don't panic thinking I left you. Just enjoy this pose as your last posture of the night. Begin to reawaken your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes. Gently roll your wrists and your ankles. And when you're ready, roll onto your right side, pausing in a fetal position. And with tall arms, push yourself up into a comfortable seat. Your eyes may be closed, or you may open them. Hands can come to heart center if you're comfortable. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me this evening. I appreciate all of you coming on Facebook Live, setting aside time for your practice, and supporting me as I continue my teaching. I hope all of you have a wonderful evening. I hope you all have enjoyed this practice. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you, all of you. Namaste. Bye, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you.